So what do you expect? Actually, that's a pretty good question. What do you expect? Do you need to lower your expectations? Or maybe you need to raise your expectations? Hey, this is Todd. Welcome to the Thrive Singles Podcast. Whether you're single again or still single, stop hating being single and learn to thrive. And welcome back for this week's episode of the Thrive Singles Podcast. I'm so glad to have you with me here today. Thank you to everybody who has subscribed, and welcome to all of you who are joining us for the first time. Today I want to talk to you about your expectations for dating and the people you date. Sometimes we set our expectations really high and we never get what we expected, so we end up disappointed. Other times we set our expectations really low and we do get what we expected and we end up disappointed. As a single person, how should you set your expectations when it comes to who you choose to go out with? Let me begin by saying, like I've said in previous episodes, that your expectations should be your expectations. They should be genuinely yours. Yes, you do need to give some consideration to the expectations of the people around you. But when I say that, what I mean is carefully chosen people. Not everybody's input is equally valuable. Only consider the opinions of people who are happily married or happily single. You don't need input from people who are constantly disgruntled, complaining, and blaming other people and circumstances for their unhappiness. Look at their relationships before you take advice from them about relationships. You do need input from quality sources, but in the end, you need to work through what you believe and what you want out of life and formulate your own expectations. For more about that, go back and listen to my episodes Manage Your Expectations Part 1 and Thrive as a Single, Know Your Why. Those should help you with that. Next, I want you to realize that in some ways, your expectations are too high. You need to lower your expectations. Ladies, look around you. How many guys do you see that bear any resemblance to your favorite actor, favorite musician, or favorite pop culture icon? Probably none. Unless your favorite celebrity is Danny DeVito or Homer Simpson. In that case, you might see several. But look, when it comes to height, looks, and physique, unless you're somebody who's often mistaken for a supermodel, you might have to lower your expectations, at least a little bit. And guys, I guess you know where this is headed, right? Unless you're often mistaken for Chris Hemsworth or Chris Evans, you might have to lower your expectations a tad. Natalie Portman and Gal Gadot are probably already spoken for. And look, I'm not trying to offend you, but there just aren't that many women who look like them who are looking for guys who look like you. You might also have to adjust your expectations when it comes to money. Look around you again. How many Porsches, BMWs, Jaguars, or other such luxury brand automobiles do you see on the road? Probably in most places not that many. That's because only a small percentage of the people can afford them. Most people can't. There's a reason they're called the 1%ers, because 99% of us can't afford those kind of extravagances. And lastly, if you assume somebody can swoop in and meet all of your physical, financial, emotional, intellectual, or sexual needs, you definitely need to lower your expectations. I feel like I talk about this probably every other week in some form or another. But A, nobody can meet all your needs. It's just impossible. And B, starting a relationship from a position of neediness almost always ends badly. Starting a relationship from a position of strength, confidence, and emotional wholeness works a lot better. Finally, the title of this episode promised you both sides of that coin, so here's the other side. There are some areas where it's reasonable and necessary to raise your expectations. First, you should expect the morals and values of anybody you might consider dating to be in line with yours. Never give anyone a pass on this because they're good-looking, popular, or well-off. Never consider a relationship or even go on a date with anybody who doesn't share your morals and values. If you want to be happily single, or maybe one day happily married, spend your time around people who are honest, faithful, diligent, people who try to get the little, even seemingly unimportant things right. Morals and values are valuable, but they're worthless if they don't translate into treating people well in everyday life. You should expect anyone you consider going out with to behave in line with their stated morals and beliefs. At a bare minimum, you should expect them to be polite to, kind to, and gentle with the people they interact with. The way they treat, talk to, and talk about the people they encounter in day-to-day life, that's the way they're going to eventually treat, talk to, and talk about you. You can count on it. Then, there are people who constantly whine, complain, blame other people, seem to always be angry or depressed about something. Stay away from those people. Spend your time with people who are thankful and always on the lookout for something to appreciate and something to be grateful for. Your expectations should also be high when it comes to emotional health. I can't say to stay away from people with issues because we all have issues. What I can say is look for people with no major issues and people who are dealing with their issues in a healthy way. Look for people who are well-adjusted, confident, and secure about who they are. When thinking about what you expect out of dating, relationships, and life in general, I find it helpful to write your thoughts down. And that's what I want to encourage you to do. We have a tendency, at least I know I do, to listen to stuff like this and to think to ourselves, oh, that's a good idea. That's great advice. I should do something about that. But then we go on our way and we never quite get around to doing anything substantive about it. So right now, while it's fresh on your mind, take out a piece of paper and a pencil, or load up your favorite word processor or notepad on your computer or your cell phone, and start thinking and writing out your thoughts. You can also go back and listen to my episode about making a list. That might help you think it through better. So, till next week, give your expectations some serious thought. Make sure they're your expectations. Know when you need to lower your expectations. Know when you need to raise your expectations. Go back and listen to a few episodes that I mentioned here. And very important, write out your thoughts on what you expect out of dates, relationships, and marriage. And speaking of writing, be sure to comment below with your thoughts about what are proper expectations for dating and the people you date. And as always, till next time, thrive on. I hope you enjoyed this week's podcast. See you next week. Till then, be sure to subscribe and go check out my extensive archive of past posts at thrivesingles.com. And thrive on.
Whoa, thrive. Yeah, come alive. There's more to life. You gotta grow, you gotta thrive. Whoa, whoa, you gotta thrive. There's more to life than to just survive. You gotta grow, you gotta thrive.